to a special, very cheery, very colourful sketchbook club. This week we'll be creating a stunning Mexican tree of life, either as a large painting or, excitingly, as a pop-up spread in your sketchbook. So for this module you will need a pencil and some paints. I would recommend using gouache paint, but to be honest you could really use any paint for this module. For painting you will need a small and a large paintbrush. Optionally, you might like to add some sequins or gems. You'll need some PVA or craft glue if you do use some. And if you struggle to find anything sparkly, I do sell kits on my website. You might also like to use some fluorescent paints. As you know, I'm a massive fan of these, and you can find them on my website too. If you're creating one big painting, you'll need some A3 paper. I recommend heavyweight cartridge paper. If you're creating a pop, you'll need an additional piece of paper too. You could use the same heavyweight or some box card, which is perfect for pop-ups. You'll also need a pair of scissors and some double-sided tape to create your pop. Right, first of all, print out your transfer sheets, reference sheet and instructions. Then start to draw over the first of the 2 sheets of transfer images. You may like to draw over everything, or you may choose to just draw sort of around the outlines and refer to the reference to create a more bespoke personalised version. It's entirely up to you. You might like to tape the edges down loosely so it doesn't move around. And remember, this is a take on Mexican folk art, so wobbly and inaccurate is completely fine. Next, transfer your image either to the bottom of your A3 sheet or to your sketchbook base page, pressing firmly and consistently. Now you're going to repeat the process with the upper section of the tree, as before, either drawing over everything or loosely so you can add your own details. Now it's really important that you don't forget to draw over the tabs at the bottom. These are important if creating a pop-up version. Now if you're creating a large painting, fold the paper back at the support tab, and position it in place so it matches the lower section of your original transfer before transferring again. Now the transferring bit is quite time consuming and boring, but do make sure the area is fully covered by pressing quite hard. The paper should be really quite black with pencil. So you'll either have one big large image like the one I'm going to demonstrate, or you will have 2 images, one on your sketchbook base spread, and one on a separate piece of heavyweight paper or card. So now you're ready for colour. I tend to work on one colour-ish at a time. So if you're working on the pop-up version, I'd recommend working on both at the same time. That way the colours will match and be consistent. Start with the tree's base colour. I've opted for blue, but obviously it's really up to you. Don't worry too much about the fiddly bits. You can always paint dots or details over the top of the paint when it's dry. You can use your size 6 brush for larger areas and your size 1 for more fiddly bits. I paint in layers, so for instance when the lime green leaves are dry, I added darker green details. Keep working this way, adding details and colour as you go. Now, as I said, this is entirely optional, but I do love using fluorescent paints. I add them to white, red, purple and yellow, and the yellow only to greens and blues, and they really make an image incredibly vibrant. It is, as I always say, like adding spices and chili to a recipe. So carry on adding colour and details, looking at the colour reference images on the instructions sheet if you get lost, as these are the same way round as your painting. Finally, paint in the lettering. Now, I did this in 3 layers. I started with the lightest colour, in this instance yellow, and then I added some shadows in a darker colour, so slightly darker orange, and then with a darker colour still, a sort of deeper, sort of dark orangey red, I gave the letters further definition. When you feel like you've added enough details and you're happy to stop painting, you might like to add some sparkly bits. Use PVA or craft glue to stick on sequins, gems, or anything you can find really. You might like to pop them inside some of the little flowers or as sparkly eyes on some of the little creatures. Adding the embellishments really is like adding the icing to the cake. Carry on adding sequins and gems until you're happy with all its sparkliness. So if you've been working on one big picture, you have finished. Look how amazing it looks in a frame. However, if you are making a pop-up version, you still need to cut out your treetop section and start to assemble the pop. Leave a nice white border around your tree and make sure you include the tabs when cutting it out. The first thing to do is to cover each of the support tabs with double-sided sticky tape, but do not peel off the backing yet. And don't worry if it's a bit too long, as you can snip off the ends. So now what you're going to do is to turn the tree over. You're going to bend down the tab and position the top tree with the corner neatly touching the middle spine of the book and the edge matched to your painting. This is important if it is to open and close properly. Making sure your piece is positioned exactly where you want it, peel off the backing and stick down the tab firmly onto your base page. Now, whatever you do, do not be tempted to stick the pop up together like this, as it very likely won't close. You need to fold the tree flat. That way, you will know the book will open and close really smoothly. So, peel off the back of the sticky tape and close the book carefully. Make sure it's properly stuck, give it a bit of a thump, and then, open up to reveal your stunning pop-up Mexican tree of life. Hooray! It is such a fun project to do. We absolutely loved this one when we tried it in my studio sketchbook club. So whether you make a gorgeous pop-up or a beautiful picture to frame, do please use the hashtag Sketchbook Club Tree of Life so we can all see them and I can share my favourites on Instagram. I can't wait to see them. I really hope this cheers us all up a little bit. Lots and lots of love and see you all soon.